Hello, I'm Grin, and welcome to this video. Well, Comic-Con has just happened, or is currently happening. I'm really not entirely sure because I have very little interest in Comic-Con in the whole, but the part I am interested in is Marvel's segment of it, which did just happen, and in doing so, during said appearance, we've seen the announcement of the first steps into Phase 4 of the MCU. The announcement consists of 7 movies, presumably for cinematic release, and 5 TV shows for their new streaming service Disney+. Sorry, Netflix. I really don't care too much about the TV shows, mostly because I don't have time to keep up with all the different MCU TV shows that run already, and long ago gave up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because none of them seem to tie in that closely to the MCU anyway, so who really cares? It's more often than not a lot of investment for very little payoff. You do get the good ones, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when it tied over with Winter Soldier, and all of Daredevil and Jessica Jones, but there's a lot of garbage also. That said, I will briefly comment on them before moving on to talking about the movies. Firstly, all I have to say about WandaVision, Hawkeye, and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is that I'm kind of disappointed these characters have been benched to the small screen. I hope we do still see them appear in movies in some capacity, as they haven't exactly been given a big screen send-off, and it would just be really weird for them all to just not be in MCU films going forward. Also, it doesn't exactly leave a very big cast and kind of cripples the Avengers team lineup. I mean, heck, Wanda's gone. She's the most powerful Avenger. She looked like she could have killed Thanos herself in Endgame were she not interrupted by the aerial barrage. Though, that said, she is at least apparently in the new Doctor Strange, so I guess they're not entirely being phased out of Phase 4, but we'll see how it goes. In regards to the series Loki, I've heard rumours it's going to be about him as a child with Tom Hiddleston narrating, as if it's the young Sheldon of the MCU or something. If it is that, then I really don't care. If, however, it's instead about the other multiverse Loki who stole the Tesseract in Endgame and escaped rather than being arrested and taken back to Asgard, then I would definitely watch it because that would be really interesting. So my interest in this series is definitely entirely based on what direction they take it. In a rather similar vein, the What If series sounds like it might be an anthology series exploring alternative multiverses in which major events happen differently. If this is the case, then I think the series will be exactly as good as its budget would allow it to be. I doubt they'll be able to afford Robert Downey Jr. for the alternative multiverse in which Pepper Potts likes the giant birthday plush toy he got her in Iron Man 3, so I don't know. It will be interesting to see how it turns out. Maybe it could be an animated series that would definitely cut a lot of costs on celebrities and special effects and give them a lot more leeway. So I guess my feeling towards that one is cautious optimism, and out of all of them, is probably the series that I'm looking forward to the most. Now onto the movies. First up, Black Widow. I wish that this movie had come out years ago. It just sort of feels like it's sort of late with her being dead and all, and sure, while I'll still see it, I'm not exactly hugely hyped for a prequel. And then the Eternals. I know nothing about the Eternals, so I look forward to this film. I mean, I knew nothing about most of the Marvel movies before their films came out, and almost all of them turned out to be excellent, so it will be cool to see some new characters that I know nothing about. And then Blade. This one's one of the more interesting announcements. I mean, depending on how it goes, it could mean that vampires are entering the MCU, which would be amazing. I'm definitely in for that. It is weird, however, that Blade is being played by the same actor who was in Luke Cage, and I'm not sure what that means for the Netflix series and their canon status. Though that said, it's not unheard of for two people to look the same, so they could just play it off as that if they even need to address it at all. Though if they are no longer canon, I guess that means in Phase 5 or Phase 6, Marvel could start bringing Daredevil into the movies rather than being in the TV series. So, who knows? I mean, as good as the Daredevil series was, I always thought it was strange that such an iconic character was on the small screen instead of the big screen, and considering that the Netflix shows are on, well, Netflix, which is now a direct competitor to the Disney Plus service, and considering the already existing animosity with Netflix cancelling their shows, and the fact that it's definitely not beyond Disney to make major moves just to hit at its competitor, Batman v Superman leading to the greenlighting of Civil War for example, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they just completely and quietly decanonize the Netflix shows entirely, and slowly reintroduce characters into the MCU anew. The only thing that I think would be stopping them is the fact that a lot of the Netflix shows were so critically acclaimed. And also apparently Blade doesn't come out until Phase 5, which, if true, is kind of weird that it's already been announced at Comic-Con, where Guardians 3, Black Panther 2, and Captain Marvel received no comment. But whatever, moving on to Shang-Chi, the next movie. Just like the Eternals, I know nothing and can't wait. So moving on again, straight to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. The first Doctor Strange was one of the most visually interesting movies in Phase 3, and he is one of my favourite Avengers, so I am pumped that he's getting a new movie. The title literally has the multiverse in it, so I guess we don't have to speculate anymore about how verified the multiverse's existence is anymore, though I still hold that after Endgame, the conversation was over regardless, and unlike the TV series What If, I have no doubts of this film's budget, and would be surprised if we didn't see at least one dead or retired Avenger in this movie. I'm calling it now, folks, Iron Man cameo in Doctor Strange 2. And I'm also hearing that this is a horror movie, so that will be cool, and I hope they put it out in October. And then on to the next movie, Thor Love and Thunder. One of the best Australian played Marvel actors back on the big screen. I'm sold. The title font looks like it's from an 80s or 90s animated cartoon. It vaguely reminds me of Rock and Roll or Thundercats or He-Man, which I all really loved, so I feel like I'm enjoying this movie before we've seen any of it. Thor Ragnarok really invoked a lot of the 80s fantasy, so it would be cool if this one is invoking the 80s and 90s cartoon sci-fi fantasies. The title is awesome, all of this is awesome, I want the logo on a shirt, you bet I'll be seeing this film opening night, and also I'm pretty sure it's directed by Taika Waititi as well, so that's a double or possible triple win. And then the last movie, Fantastic Four, which I almost feel like it should be called Fantastic Four Again. I really don't have much to say about this one, except I hope it isn't garbage. I think it'll be fairly late into Phase 4 when we see them. Phase 4, Phase Fantastic Four, there needs to be some sort of gap here, because the last train wreck of a Fantastic Four feature is still pretty fresh in most people's minds. Though that said, Spider-Man came out and washed the bad taste of the Amazing Spider-Man out of people's mouths, so I guess we'll see how it goes. Also, I'm assuming we're getting a new Spider-Man, and the only reason we haven't heard about it is probably contractually it's up to Sony to announce it, so fingers crossed we're seeing more of that because I'm loving the new Spider-Man. But with that, we've come to the end of all of the information Marvel's given us, so there you have it. That's my loose opinions on all that was announced, or all that I've seen people say they announced. I wasn't at the con myself, and you can't seem to be able to watch the full press anywhere, which is really annoying. Come on guys, stream it or something, I want to watch. I'd love to hear in the comments below which one you're most excited for, whether it be one of these new announced ones, or one of the ones that we know we're getting, but they've said nothing about. You know, Captain Marvel 2, Guardians 3, Black Panther 2, Spider-Man 3, and the such. But with all of that said and done, thanks for watching, and until next time, I have been and still am Grim Grindle. If you'd like to follow me on social media, or join the Channel Grim and Grin Discord, the Echo Chamber, a link to both that and my Twitter is available in the description below.